Hello, my beautiful soul. So, this morning I have been requested, and actually, not just this morning, but for a while, I have been requested to put on my camera and start recording. And this message is for anyone who is on the spiritual awakening path and you found yourself in this tunnel of transformation where perhaps in the past you had to let go of a lot of things. So, there was a lot of destruction moving through your life, endings. Maybe you changed your job, maybe you had bad health, maybe you changed relationships, countries, houses. There was some kind of culling and putting an end to a past version of yourself, and this is always challenging because our ego structure is based on everything that it is that we know. So now, as we are asked to shed that, we will have to go through a process of grief and transformation. And of course, it's always easier to look at that from the other side, but the furnace, the cauldron we are asked to sit in, is this fire of purification, of releasing of our attachments to other people, places, situations, and things, so that we can realize our true nature is divinity. Our true nature is light. And I know that it is extremely difficult in the moment, but that is your initiation. You go through a process where you have to go through feeling, building your capacity to feel, and feeling definitely is healing, but it is also detaching from everything that is transient, everything that is coming and going, so that you can recognize your true nature, which is unchanging. And right now you can connect with that true nature as I am channeling this message, because you can see through the thread of your life, that silent little thread. You've looked at yourself in the mirror when you were a child, when you were a teenager, however old you are now. Your body has changed, everything around you has changed, but there is something inside of you that you recognize as yourself that is completely unchanging, that is present, that is there, that is still. So when you're going through all of this huge culling of your life, which is extremely painful, you're observing it, it is extremely important to learn how to detach from it, not dissociate. So dissociating means I'm numbing out, I'm escaping into my mind, I'm escaping doom scrolling, I am going into addictive patterns. And that is also in its way a purification, because when we are going into those patterns are only showing us what there is still missing in our life. Meaning, when I'm involved in some kind of addiction, it means that I am lacking something. What is that addiction giving you? So when I used to smoke, that addiction was giving me time to process, time to be by myself. And it was also a way to fill my lungs with smoke so that I wouldn't have to feel grief and loss. So every single organ in our body holds a specific emotion. Like when we are drinking, the liver is associated with anger, and the kidneys with fear and anxiety. Our lungs, like I said, are with grief. So when we are noticing what is this addiction actually doing, when I started quitting smoking, or when I began quitting, I didn't just quit cigarettes. I started to ask myself the question, why am I doing this? What would I have to feel so that I wouldn't have to smoke? And that showed me what is the need. And I tried to fill the need with various things, with people, with food, with drugs, with alcohol, with doom scrolling, with distracting, with movement, with being busy. We can fill it with so many things, and some of those things feel so valid. Like a lot of people fill it with their kids, and we fill it with their work. But actually what they are doing is trying to run away from what are we feeling. So the whole goal here is to notice what is the need that you are trying to fulfill by doing that escape. Even if you are doing some kind of doom scrolling on social media, what are you actually paying attention to? Is it fulfilling the need for relationship content because you want a relationship, you want connection? Is it fulfilling a need for entertainment because you actually need more fun in your life? And once you start fulfilling those needs, you are becoming more and more adequate at emotional regulation, nervous system regulation, nurturing yourself, for loving yourself, pouring into yourself, because at the end of the day, this whole journey is bringing us to a space of self-love. It is integrating both aspects, the physical part, the human part, which is very fallible, which feels, which attaches, which feels pain, which suffers, and it is also connecting us with something that is a lot higher. So this journey is not about completely avoiding the human part and bypassing into the spiritual, but it is about really integrating and being completely fully awakened as we are moving through this. So what does this process look like? Yes, we will cry. Yes, we will grieve. Yes, we will move through difficulty, some kind of real or perceived blockages, some kind of maybe trauma in our life. You know, we will all meet challenges in our life, and it is not personal. This is what we came here to do, is to move through these challenges while I kind of feel like it's keeping our head above the water, while not drowning in it. So keeping that perspective, being conscious, and the most important part is by being loving awareness. This is the most important thing that we can learn to do, and how we can move through life and move through challenge is to be loving awareness. So separate yourself. So instead of, say for example, fusing with your sadness or with your grief and letting it take over your whole body, your whole persona, your whole life, notice that there is a part of you that is observing the grief. There is a part of you that can hold a loving space. And how you can do that is by turning towards yourself and saying something like, my love, I can see that you're going through so much pain, and it is difficult to be with that pain. It is difficult to move through this stuckness, or this feeling of confusion, or feeling lost or numb, or not sure of where to go next. This is a very challenging situation, and I am here. You are not alone. And you are loved. You're not doing anything wrong. So the root core of this message is that you are a loving awareness. You are the beauty that fills all of the spaces and can hold all experiences. And we can rest in this presence. And for some reason, I'm just seeing a little bee, a bumblebee. So maybe this is a particular message for somebody, but that bee, it looks light and very joyous, and it reminds me of summer. So keeping this love in your heart, and keep coming back into this space of love, because you will notice that this is your true frequency. This is your true identity. All right, my angel, this is your transmission. I hope you can see I've stopped channeling, so now I'm in my human again. So I hope that this gave you a little bit more comfort on the path. Know that you are loved, and I would love to hear from you and about your journey. And I look forward to seeing you next. If you would like to hear more from me, just subscribe and give me a few comments, and I will see you in the next one. Big love.